forearm, I don't know what I just called it, I might have just called it counter stretch. It's not counter stretch, forearm stretch. We're doing kneeling forearm stretch. Both kneeling forearm stretch and forearm stretch, when I give them to clients, I often get the feedback of, oh, that was nice, that was straightforward. And it's very typically one that people compensate loads in. So it's not necessarily one where you're going to get a huge amount of burning. It's probably not going to be as intense as that like hand exercise that we've just done, but it should feel difficult, and it's almost like a coordination thing when you're doing it properly. And just for so many of my clients, they compensate. So I'm always detailed, but I'm going to be really detailed in this one. Okay. So what we're going to do is have our hands in this type of position, elbows tucked into our sides, and our body is like a forearms distance away from the wall. So from the front, I look like this. I'm not doing that, okay? Elbows tuck in, hands are facing down, and I've got that 90-degree angle at my wrist and at my elbow. So I'm not like this, and I'm not like this. Saying that, if this is too intense, a little bit like what I said in that last exercise, and the wrist is like stretching too much, bring the wrist down slightly, because it's just going to reduce the angle of extension through it. You're going to have your knees hip width apart, which is more narrow than most people think, and you're going to have the lower legs in alignment with the knees and with the hips. So we don't want the legs out to the side like this. We don't want random things happening with the feet. We're trying to keep toes, ankles, knees and hips in alignment with each other. We are starting off in this position, so notice how my body is like a forearms distance away from the wall. The number one mistake, actually I'll walk you through what it looks like and then I'll walk you through the mistakes. So what we're doing is bringing our nose towards the wall without flaring up our rib cage. Our upper arms move behind our rib cage, and our shoulder blades pull down away from our ears. The back of our neck stays long. So we're kind of going in at a diagonal towards the wall. So knees, hips, rib cage, shoulders and ear, slight diagonal towards the wall. The work is happening in my upper arms and in my mid to upper back mainly, but you'll also be getting a stretch going on through your hands as well. The number one mistakes that are made, number one, hips go towards the wall and the upper body is behind the hips like this. I'm exaggerating, but some iteration of that. That's number one. Number two, when the person thinks they're drawing their chest through into the position, they're tilting their rib cage up. Okay, so can you see the difference there? What should be happening is we're drawing our rib cage down so that we have length through our sort of mid to lower back, and we're moving our chest through, upper arms back, shoulder blades back and down away from the ears. The rib cage stays nice and long. I'm not tilting it upwards. So my body loves to rib cage tilt. All I want to do there is tilt my rib cage up in that position. But if you do that, you're just going into your back. You're not working the arms and the hands in the way that we want to. So very quickly, I'm going to show you those two things. Really try and tune into this. Your hips are not closer to the wall than your upper body. You're just hyperextending your lower back there, not moving the shoulders. Secondly, as you come forwards, you're not keeping the rib cage long, you're tilting it upwards, and it's going to feel easy because it's all going wrong at that rib cage. So the rib cage has to stay down. Look how that kind of mid-back area there lengthens as I do that. Okay, we're going to do a minute here. Spread the fingers wide, palms are flat to the wall, wrists in alignment with the elbows, elbows tucked into our waist, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, and then we're just slowly drawing our body on a diagonal towards the wall. So our nose is the closest thing to the wall, then it's the shoulders, then it's the rib cage, then it's the hips, then it's the knees. Rib cage stays down, shoulders move back. 3, 2, 1, go. And breathe. Keep pulling shoulder blades back and down. You're feeling the collarbone and the chest pull through. The upper arms move back. Rib cage stays down, making sure that the hips are not closer to the wall than the upper body. Breathing in and out of the nose, sending the breath into the belly and the diaphragm. The nose is the closest thing to the wall, then the shoulders, then the rib cage, then the hips, then the knees. And this should be felt in the shoulder area, arms, upper back. Keep thinking about your rib cage. 15 seconds left here. And once you've warmed up into a little bit more, you might be able to feel like you can get your shoulder blades behind you a bit more. So this is becoming very tough for me. Front to my chest, I love this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And towards the end there, as I got tired, and my body was like, get out of my shoulders, I don't want to do it here. It was trying to get me to flare my rib cage more, and I could have done that, and I would have felt nothing, but instead I had to correct myself and really teach my body. It's basically that movement there that we struggle with so much without the rib cage like popping up and down, that type of thing. So that was kneeling